but I will be paying special attention to Credit Academy. Make sure you guys are leaving your questions. This is just a general Q&A. Yeah, so first of all, quick update. How's everyone? I was on vacation. I done got sick. Not sick, I just had food poisoning and all of that. So I haven't even been live in so long. Like, it's actually insane. But how are you guys doing? Shout out to the Credit Academy members. I've been going through the group, looking at you guys' results, looking at all the round one feedback and all of that. So that's super exciting. I'm super excited that you guys are now on round two, because y'all know, like I always say, like that's where really the magic happens, like in the later rounds. But yeah, so we're just gonna do a regular credit Q&A. So any credit questions that you may have about credit cards, building credit, repairing credit, literally anything to do with credit, I can assist you with that. Yep. Yeah, you could just type it. All right. So for the 6-step challenge system, do you send them all in one envelope? So no, for the 6-step challenge system, they're all enveloped separately. I like the DIY kit better than the 6-step. I mean, not necessarily that I like it better. It's just that the DIY kit has been having more success lately. The 6-step is from like 2017. It is still my favorite for charge-offs, but collections, either the DIY kit or the new collection kit, which is not on the site, but Credit Academy members, y'all have access to that. Round two just got a charge off deleted. Hey, shout out to you, Shatreya. Yeah, Shatreya. Shout out to you. Congrats. All right. Is it unusual to get a collection deleted off one bureau and not the other two? So yes, that is normal. The 3 credit bureaus are on 3 different accords. They are all 3 different companies. So for example, if TransUnion finds that they want to delete something that has no bearing on whether Equifax and Experian is going to delete it, because they all do their own separate investigation process. So yeah, no, that's normal. That is normal. All right. The videos that you post on Facebook, can you post them on the Credit Academy site? I don't have a Facebook. Yeah, so all the webinars that we do, we upload it in the portal. So you don't have to have Facebook, but you'll have to. We upload it the day after the file is done saving and stuff. So yeah, you still have access to it. It's in your portal right now. So we've done 3 webinars so far. We do have another one next week. Normally I try to do one a week, but this past week and a half has been spring break, so we didn't do it this week. But we will have a webinar next week. My balance from Midland is 630, 53. What should I ask them down to? Try to offer, like, you can start at like 40%, 50% to see if they'll accept it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. A lot of times they won't go under like 50 to 60%, but I start low, and worst case scenario, they'll just counter, Let me see. I joined a Credit Academy 2 days ago. What is the best way to get medical collections removed? So shout out to you. Thank you for joining. If you are in Credit Academy, this doesn't apply to people who are not in Credit Academy, just a preface. If you're in Credit Academy, it's important that you follow one system. So if you are going to do factual disputing, which is obviously what usually ends in the best results, then go with what the system is saying. So how you are disputing that medical collection, whenever you log into your portal, it will give you a dispute reason as well as a dispute letter for that medical collection. And go with that, right? So your next round is going to be a follow-up on your round one, but not necessarily a follow-up, but it will, every round, the system will look to see what happened with the account on the previous round and then draft you a letter like accordingly, So it's a full system. Now you can, of course, for medical collections, there is always the HIPAA method. So that is just 2 different disputes. But if you're in Credit Academy, I would suggest that you do the factual first. And then if it's not deleted after you go through that process, then there are other, systems and all of that. Yeah, girl, it's a camera. It's my first time streaming from like a camera as opposed to like my computer camera. What's the best way to attack the Milliman report, or what letter should I use to dispute some of the medications? So let me get the letter title. It's in the third party kit, the third party report, consumer reports kit. The letter is, so you can use letter 1. So accuracy dispute template, you can list all of whatever you want to challenge from your Milliman report on that letter. That letter is pretty universal for any of the third party entities. So you would have to download the third party kit. It's in the portal, as well as if you're in a Facebook group. So it's in the Facebook group files as well in Credit Academy. How long do late payments need to be? How old do late payments need to be to purchase a home? So that it depends, but I do know that most lenders that I work with, they don't like to see any late payments within at least 12 months. But I have worked with some lenders who prefer not to see any within 18 to 24 months. So that would depend, but a safe bet is usually 12 months late payment free across your entire profile. I did a dispute, they closed it, but did not delete it. What do I do next? So you have to follow up on your dispute. If they close a collection, that means, well, it not necessarily that it means nothing, but that happens a lot when you are disputing, because either the company has rescinded collecting on the account, and they're either going to send it back to the original creditor or sell it to a new collection agency. So that's a usual reason why they will close it. Maybe they just decided they no longer want to collect on the account because they don't want to have to go through the validation process. And then that forces them to close the account as well. So a closing of a collection means nothing. So it doesn't help your credit profile. It's like a neutral thing. It doesn't help your profile at all. That's not the end of the road. Once it closes, you should already be but just preparing to go, to round 2. Let me see. I don't think closed accounts come up in my disputes on Credit Academy. Yeah, so Credit Academy, it reads all of your accounts, whether they're closed or not. Now, I maybe you're misconstruing. Okay, so closed, just because an account is closed, it doesn't mean it's negative, right? So a lot of people get that confused. They say, what do I do about my closed accounts? Like, do I need to challenge my closed accounts? And closed doesn't mean negative by default at all. You can have an account closed because you finished paying off the loan, or maybe you just decided to close a credit card, or whatever the case may be. If the account is closed, that doesn't by default make it negative. What makes a closed account negative is if it includes a derogatory status in addition to being closed, right? So for example, if it's included in bankruptcy, if it's charged off, if it was sent to collection, if it was repossessed, if it has 90 plus day late on it, right? That is what makes the account negative. So just because it's closed, it doesn't mean it's negative. And you should not just dispute all of your closed accounts, because that is your credit history. The only closed accounts that you should dispute is the ones that include a negative rating, right? So in collections, charged off, repossessed, included in bankruptcy. I'm missing like 2 of them. But yeah, so it just closing of an account doesn't mean negative. So if it was a closed account and it's not negative, then Credit Academy won't give you a dispute reason for it, because of course there's just no reason to dispute it. Do I wait until I get my first round back to see if any of my collections were deleted and then apply for secure cards? And how many cards do you prefer? So you're in Credit Academy. I do suggest that you go watch Building Credit Part 1, which is the webinar that we did last week. It's super important that you guys actually watch the webinars, guys. I know they long, but they are super detailed, and it'll literally make this entire process make sense. So you're not like frustrated during the process, or you're not expecting anything that's like not going to come. And it teaches you how to properly build credit. Because you don't want to just add random accounts to your credit report. You don't want to just buy random trade lines. No, that's not how you actually fix your credit and have a great credit profile, which translates across all of your credit scores, right? So go and watch that. I can't see your name. It just says Facebook user. Hold on, chat. My mouth dry as hell. What about a 30-day late on a closed account? So a 30-day late, in my opinion, I would not risk getting the entire account deleted for one 30-day late payment. I have a general rule when it comes to like late payments on closed accounts. And my rule is, as long as you have 11 one-time payments for every one late payment that you have on that account, then they pretty much cancel each other out in terms of the effect that they do to your credit profile. So for those of you who may not know, for every one late payment, it takes 11 on-time payments to cancel the effect, the negative effect of that one late payment off. So if you have, if you, let's just say you had a car loan that was 5 years, right? Let's just say you had a car loan that was 48 months, right? And during that 48 months, you were late 2 times, right? In that case, you do have 2 late payments on that account, but you also have 46 on-time payments on that account. So in that situation, that account is still helping you more than it's hurting you, even with those late payments on there. So as long as you have at least 11 on-time payments for every 1 late payment you have on an account, then that account is still helping you more than it's hurting you. I know it's not fun to see any late payments, and of course, everyone wants a perfect payment history, but at no point is it worth it to, let's say you dispute that account and that entire account gets deleted. Now you have 46 less on-time payments on your credit profile just because you were trying to get rid of those 2 late payments. Does that make sense? So it's not always worth it. So again, just remember, for every 1 late payment, as long as you have 11 on-time payments, then it's not worth it to get the account deleted. Yeah, I can't open the question box because it's too many lives right now. I'm just reading the comments because it's gonna be too much. Let me see. I have a car charge off and still have the vehicle. Can I get another car then turn in the old one? So you likely won't be able to turn in the old one because you don't have a title, correct? Because I know once they charge it off, and even if you do still have the vehicle, they don't assign you the title. So I don't believe that you'll be able to. Now you may want to now that's not my level of expertise in terms of just like purchasing cars and all of that, but I believe that you wouldn't be able to do that only because you don't technically own the vehicle. But check into that, because again, that's just not my area of expertise. I don't know about car salesmen like that. Let me see. When you're trying to buy a house with a high balance CO, will it stop you from getting approved even if you're paying down the balance, but the history reports CO still each month? So most lenders that I work with, if you do have a high balance charge off, as long as you're actively paying for that charge off or have settled it, then they're usually fine. I know like most lenders, they'll say that they'll want to see a history of at least 6 to 9 months of payments that you've already been paying them, just to show that like this is not something that you just started paying right before you started shopping for your home, right? So you want to have that history of paying them without fail. Of course, don't miss a month, because your lender may want you to prove that you have a great track record with repaying that. I get skipped over every line. I don't see your question, Mo. Write your question again. Let me see. I mean, get a new car, not trade in. Wait, huh? I just haven't sent 2 at all because that's all I have. Wait, because it just says Facebook. Yeah, I wish you said y'all name because I don't know if I'm talking to 2 different people or the same person. When disputing things off LexisNexis, is it okay to still dispute things with third parties or wait till my investigation with LexisNexis is over? So if you're disputing with LexisNexis and ARS or any other third-party entity, they're all solo. So whatever you're disputing with LexisNexis has no bearing on the other entities like, ARS or Milliman or whatever the case may be. So you're able to dispute at the same time with all of them. I had a repossession. I tried to dispute in round 1 for $4,000. I got so scared because it's high balance that I left it out of round 2. I mean, that's fair. What's the statute? Is it out of the statute of limitations? Because that's really what I look at when it comes to repossessions. If it's outside of the statute of limitations, then you're fine. You can't be sued. However, if it is still within the statute of limitations and it is a high balance charge off, then sometimes it's best to just not dispute that, because the company will likely try to pursue you legally, to get their money. Is there anything that you can do for a public record eviction? Why is this camera so blurry? Yes, there is. Well, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean anything that you can do? I need to be a little more specific. Hold on. If you pay a charge off and it reports CO after payment, should I send in proof showing that the date it was paid requesting for deletion? Well, no. So just because a charge off is paid off, it doesn't take away the fact that it's a charge off. So it will still be reported as a charge off. It'll just be reported as a paid charge off. So yeah, that won't change. I can't get LexisNexis to send my report. I've tried at least 3 or 4 times. Have you called them over the phone, KP? You may have to call them over the phone and verify your identity. Midland. Oh shoot. Midland Credit will accept a one-time payment after making payment arrangements. Question. Are you saying like can you satisfy the balance in a balloon payment, a bulk payment, even if you have already made payment arrangements? If that's what you're saying, then I don't see why not. A company usually wouldn't refuse to accept like your money if you're just trying to satisfy the account. So I wouldn't suspect that that'll be an issue with that. My round 2 letters were supposed to go out on April 9th, but I'm only getting a chance to send my letters out tomorrow. Is that a bad thing? No, you're fine. It's only 3 days. Would it be okay to get a virtual address, then dispute all accounts linked to old addresses? So virtual addresses, the credit bureaus recognize virtual addresses because a lot of people will probably be tied to that same address. And there's no way for you to verify that address. So I would not suggest that, because that's only going to just set you up for them being able to legally ignore you. Because if they can't verify your residency, then they can literally ignore you with no explanation. So I mean, me personally, I just wouldn't do it. Is it impossible to get a BK removed from TransUnion because of LCI? Nothing is ever impossible, but I will say LCI is the hardest. So I'm not even gonna hold you on that. They're the hardest because they don't allow you to dispute. So not even that they're the hardest. It's nearly impossible because you can't dispute with LCI as of now. Do you recommend disputing increase? Recommend? I personally do not waste my time disputing increase. I just don't find that they're worth the effort, the time at all, because let's just say in the best case scenario, you get all of your increase deleted. It's not really going to make a difference in your credit profile. That increase is never going to be the reason why you have bad credit. Like, a lot of people would always look at their credit profile and try to immediately blame increase. Like, man, I can't get approved for anything because I have all these increase. And I'm like, no. That's not why you can't get approved. You can't get approved because A, B, C, or D. Increase are always in a C category in terms of denial, meaning that you have to have something wrong with your credit profile that's either in the A or 2 things in the B category before an inquiry will ever affect your application. I know that it's a little confusing because I know we haven't really gotten to like denial codes and all of that, but we can, because I do have like a list of all denial codes and things of that nature. But like it's a little hard to explain without like knowing that information. But you will never be denied an application solely on increase. Increase is always a corresponding reason that they deny you. Like, you have to have something else major wrong with your profile for an increase to even come into play, like literally. So a lot of people get so caught up on increase, and it's just like that. There's other things that's, to me, that deserves way more attention and that will actually make a difference in your credit profile, in your application process, and all of that. Will school loans affect me trying to apply for a home loan? Everything on your credit profile will affect you. How it will affect you will depend on how it's reporting. When it comes to student loans, I'm not gonna hold you. Student loans is probably helping like 99% of people, because it does add on-time payments to your credit profile, especially if you're in like deferment. It adds credit age, because a lot of times that's like most people's like oldest account, right? The only time student loans really negatively affect your credit is if you have like multiple late payments, if you fail to put it in deferment and you just allowed, months to pass and obviously there was no payment reported. So now you have multiple late payments, right? So that's really the only thing. And also, obviously, if you default on it. So if you just ignored it for like 6 months, I think for federal loans, they normally give you 6 months plus. So more than 6 months before they'll just default you. And obviously that's bad, because that's essentially like a charge off, right? But if it's just coasting in deferment, or if you're on an income-based repayment plan and your payment is literally $0, all of that is literally adding on-time payments to your profile every month. So now it will affect your debt to income ratio when it comes to buying a home. And I'm not sure what type of loan you're trying to get, like conventional or FHA or whatever, but there are different qualifications based on which one you're getting. But just having student loans certainly don't just, of course, take away your ability to purchase a home. Like, no, not on the surface. Should I get a credit card before I buy a home, or should I wait until after I buy a home? Are you saying okay, so if you are if you're currently in your home buying process, then you shouldn't be applying for anything, right? But I think that you're trying to plan for it. So you're not like actively in your home buying process. So if that's the case, then absolutely. If you are at least 7+ months away from doing your home application, like you're literally going to be filling out applications, then you should absolutely get a credit card. The best time to get a credit card before a home is at least a year before, because if you have 12 months of history of a revolving trade line, it does improve your mortgage, or 12 months plus, obviously. So if you don't have a credit card, probably it's going to be harder to get a home, but a credit card a year plus old certainly helps your mortgage score drastically. Is there a law that prevents the bureaus from reporting late payments on active accounts? Can you talk about active late payments? No. Wait, is there a law that prevents the bureau from reporting late payments on active accounts? No. Active accounts, what do you, I think I'm overthinking it. So you're saying, like, if the account is open and you are late, is it against the law for the company to report the late payment? Is that what you're saying? If that's what you're saying, then, of course, no. The companies can report a late payment anytime you are late. If you are at least 31 days past your due date, then that is considered a late payment in terms of your credit report. But maybe I don't know if he was asking that question. If not, retype your question. Is there an app to use that tells you which card to use as far as the perks? Max Rewards is one of my favorite ones to kind of keep up with, my credit cards. How can I see a collection account number? I didn't receive a collection letter in the mail. Always download your official credit report. Go to annualcreditreport.com. Everyone needs to have a copy of their credit report. It is free. You don't have to pay not even a penny. Annualcreditreport.com. And it has all the information that you need in terms of all of the accounts, the dates, the payment hit, all of that. It has all the detailed information. Your Card Pointers is another one. Max Rewards is cheaper though. Yes, I was on vacation, so this is the first vacation I've been on in like 3 years that I literally didn't work. I didn't bring my laptop. I didn't bring my work phone. Like, it felt refreshing though. But I ain't gonna lie, when I got back, I was like, oh my God, my getting caught back up is like the only regret that I have. But I did enjoy like the time of just like literally not doing anything. But man, these last couple of days, I'm like, oh my God. Is it worth it to keep disputing student loan late payments? Y'all know how I feel about student loan late payments. Cause like before, when I got the little gray stuff. If I get the gray stuff on the side of my mouth, I need y'all to stop me from talking. If y'all got to put the exclamation marks, stop me ASAP, because that is I hate that. Anyways, I didn't forget what I was going to say, because that just really blew me. What was I talking about? Oh, is it worth it to keep disputing student loan late payments? So before I repaired my credit, I had 23, I believe, like 20 something. It was 20 plus. So I had like 23 late payments, but all of them were on my student loans. So it had kept my payment history percentage at 87%, right? Now my payment history percentage is 100%. And that's literally because I disputed all of my student loan late payments. I hate saying that because it sounds like it was just like a night and day process, like it was super easy, but no, it literally took me. So I had 23 late payments. I'm not even exaggerating. It took me, at the very least, and I'm still probably off a few months, but at the very least, it took me sending I'd sent over 20 letters for those late payments. Like, it was a process. Like, it would be months where they'll update one, and then the next month I'll challenge another one, and then it's just nothing. They ignored it, or either they just refused, right? So there were multiple months where they just refused to not move anything. And then I had some months where I'll challenge one late payment, and then when I got a response, next thing you know, I got an update on my credit report, and they had changed 6 of them, right? So it literally was just like the most like up and down process. So I say all that to say, me personally, if they are federal student loans, dispute them, because it ain't like they're gonna get deleted. You ain't got not even that, it's not like they're gonna get deleted, but you don't have to worry about like that account going nowhere, because they ain't gonna go nowhere. But that's why you like when y'all challenging student loans, don't even ask them to delete the student loans. That's the worst thing you can do for a federal loan. A student loan, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most people obviously know this, and I'm talking about federal loans. Hold on. Okay, so where is my, hold on, dang. I hate when I'm trying to look for something and I cannot find it. I was trying to find the exact federal. Hold on, y'all. This goes for student loans, and cannot find it. Whatever. So I'll explain it. So a student loan is categorized. So there are like 3 different types of account that are categorized as like federal debt, right? And federal debt means that, number one, the credit bureaus can't give you like not the credit bureaus, but you can't dispute it in terms of invalidating your identity, because it is a federal debt. And if now, it's so hard to explain without like telling you guys the whole list, but basically a student loan is essentially like a protected account in terms of your credit report. Like there are the credit bureaus are very like, they really can't do much about student loans. Like they don't have the same leniency that they have for like other type of accounts like credit cards and stuff like that, because it's considered like a protected debt, right? And so with that being said, like of course, even when you file bankruptcy, your student loans ain't gonna go nowhere. They still there. But like the credit bureaus are not going to delete that. Like the credit bureaus are most likely not going to delete it. Let me just say that. But so basically the only time student loans get deleted is most of the times it's like a mistake and it just happens, or they age out or something like that. But it's last time they did a study, they said like based on how many times people challenge student loans, they're actually only deleted like 5% of the time, 5%. Like I said, so people, you'll find people one off getting lucky or whatever, but it's also not to your benefit to delete a student loan, which is what I always try to tell you guys. Don't try to delete the student loan. Just try to get the payment history updated. That's going to benefit your profile more. That's going to make you benefit from your student loans and the long history that they hold, the credit age that they hold, all of the on-time payments that they hold as well. Now, this doesn't go for private student loans. So private student loans are just like any other loan. Federal student loans are the ones that are protected. So why I want my student loans deleted? I've had them since 18. I'm 36. I'm over it. Think about how many months of on-time payments that they are adding to your profile. I know you don't like them, whatever the case may be, but in terms of if you delete those student loans, you are going to lose, off top of my head, what's that, like 18 plus years? You're going to lose damn near 20 years of credit age because you don't like the student loans. Like, understand that is I'm sure that's the largest chunk of your credit age. I'm sure it's the largest chunk of your payment history. So your score is going to decrease drastically if you get those student loans deleted. It drastically. So I would rethink that. Me personally, I would rethink that. Of course you can do what you want, but I would rethink that. Nah. Capital One denied my goodwill adjustment, and I've only been late once since having the card in 3 years. Tried again, and they said they couldn't grant it because I've already tried. Any suggestions? Keep trying. That's the only thing you can do. It's not like you can force them to grant you a goodwill adjustment. It is at the discretion of the company based on your relationship and all of that. I would wait at least 3 months, so at least 90 days before you ask them again. But there are people who it literally took them 6 times asking, and then they finally was granted it. So The only thing you can do is keep asking. I've already sent out round 2 disputes to which stated deleted. Oh, I've already sent out round 2 dispute to which stated delete the late payment. So what would type that over, Chanel? I can't really make sense of it. Should I let my retail card close? I don't use it. Does it have an annual fee? If it doesn't have an annual fee, then no. You know, it's just, I mean, you don't. They're probably gonna close it anyway if you don't use it. But if you don't have an annual fee, then you know, you may want to just leave it open just because it does help like utilization and of course credit age. But if you know you're just done with it and you don't really want to shop at the store anymore, then you know, yeah, you can close it. But make sure that you have other revolving trade lines. CIC keeps saying they verified that with the courthouse. This is my third dispute. How to handle this? So CIC, they a big deal, but they're not really a big deal in terms of the credit bureaus using them as validation anymore. In like 09 they was, but like nowadays not really. It's typically really like the main ones are LexisNexis, ARS, Innovis, not even really Innovis anymore. ARS, LexisNexis is like the biggest culprit, and then LCI, and you of course can't dispute LCI. Is it normal for a debt collector to email me about a debt? Yeah, they can even contact you on social media now. It is normal. Yeah. Let me see. My oldest account is showing as 1 month, which is inaccurate. What do I do? Ooh. What do you mean? So do you have what else is on your credit report? How much does being an AU hurt my chances of being approved for a mortgage? Do I need to be removed as one before I start buying process? No, you don't need to be removed for one. Just make sure that it's in good standing. Make sure that the utilization is low. It does affect you. This, you know, it definitely affects you. So make sure it's benefiting you. If it's, you know, high utilization and all of that, then it serves you no purpose. But you don't have to like get it deleted before you purchase a home. No, if it's helping you, yeah, but make sure you also have primary trade lines because that's really what's going to make a difference. What are the third-party reports that we need to pull for banking systems? So the banking third-party reports are ChexSystem, Certegy, ChexSystem, Certegy. I always miss 1,000 of them, so let me just pull it up just so I can make sure I'm not missing any of them. ChexSystem, Certegy, early warning systems. There's like 5 banking reports. Let me just pull it up, child. I be trying to go off the top of my head, and y'all know my memory ain't shit. My memory is not anything. Where is it at? Oh, okay, right here. It's loading. Give me one moment. Where is it? I think that was it. Oh, here we go. Come on, load. You're taking all day. I'm gonna come back to your question as soon as it come up because it's literally loading like I'm not waiting on it. All right, I'm gonna pull that back up. What about Black Burgundy? What's that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Dang, took all freaking day. Okay, here we go. My bad. Okay, so the banking reports. The banking reports are early warning system, Certegy, ChexSystem. Those are the main 3. This ain't even the one that I was trying to pull up. Damn. Where's the new one? My files is just, I really got to do better with like, oh, here we go. Okay, I got it for real this time. I got the new one. And by the way, if you're in Credit Academy, this little, let me share my screen actually. I'll just share the screen. But if you're in Credit Academy, this, what I'm about to pull up, it's in the group files. So go download it just for you to have for your records. It's just a list of all the third-party companies, how to contact them, how to get your report. And let me see. All right. And I broke it down. In categories. Why is it doing that? No, I just want to scroll. All right, so the banking reports are Certegy, check systems, cross-check, early warning systems, global payments, and telecheck. So those are all the banking third-party reports. So if you can't get a bank account, if you can't open a bank account, if you're constantly getting denied for credit cards and you don't know why, because your credit profile should permit, or your credit score in your eyes should permit you to get a credit card, it's likely because you are in one of the banking systems. Which will prevent you from opening bank accounts, savings accounts, and some credit cards. All the major credit cards, they will usually pull, at the very least, like early warning system. So what you do is you go pull your third-party reports. So in this case, your third-party banking reports. So Certegy, check systems, cross-check, early warning systems, global payments, and telecheck. You pull all those reports and you clean them. So you dispute whatever they have, whatever negative information that they have, so that you can hopefully get it deleted and then be able to open a bank account. And the same goes for evictions, but those are not, the eviction reports would be, let me go down to it or up. The tenant reports. So if you have an eviction, and you don't even, by the way, you don't even have to have officially been evicted. If you have ever had like a bad history with rental history, and when you go and apply for an apartment, you're getting denied and you don't know why, or maybe you do know why. Clean your third-party reports. When you apply for an apartment, yes, your leasing agent. Your leasing agent is going to pull your credit report, but in addition to your credit report, they'll likely pull one of your tenant history reports, one or more of your tenant history reports, just to get a better overview of how you were as a tenant in your past. And if you have bad history, like leaving damage to properties, leaving a mess, or constantly paying late and stuff like that, those things are detailed in your tenant history reports. So there is a lot of tenant history reports. I'm not going to say all of them right now, but the main ones are CIC, which is Contemporary Information Corp, Experian Rent Bureau, First Advantage, FARS, so First Advantage Resident Solutions, Safe Rent, and then screening reports. Clean those reports if you cannot get approved to rent a house, apartment, whatever the case may be. Equifax removed charged off account, but now on round 3 for TransUnion and Experian, what fact letter should we send first? The one about multiple CO? I'm not sure. I mean, you got to give me a little more information. So you say no. So it's confused because you said you're in round 3. So whatever you sent on round 2, you need to be following up on that. So don't just be sending like random letters and counting them as rounds. If your investigations are not cohesive, then you are not technically doing rounds. You're just sending, just throwing random things at the wall, hoping that it sticks. So they have to be cohesive. You have to actually follow up on your previous round, or you have to dispute the account in a different way that you haven't disputed already. Does Credit Academy help dispute? So yes, it does. Wait. A BK, yeah. So there is a bankruptcy kit. Now, the system was not going to be able to dispute your bankruptcy because when you dispute a bankruptcy, you are primarily disputing with the third-party entities. But we do have a kit for that. Georgia has a 4-year statute of limitations. Yep. How old is the account? Not how old is the account. How long has it been since the account got repoed? Yes, I have a third-party report kit, like a dispute kit. If you're in Credit Academy, it's already uploaded in the group files. And then I'll actually just upload it on the site later for everyone else to purchase. But if you're in Credit Academy, you get it free. So if you're in Credit Academy, don't purchase it. I disputed my bankruptcy, got it deleted from LexisNexis, got the letter from the court saying they don't report it. Credit bureaus won't delete it. So where are you at in the process? Have you only disputed it once with the credit bureaus, or where are you at in your process? in terms of the credit bureaus. I know you said you already got it deleted from LexisNexis. You said LexisNexis, but I don't know if did you get it deleted from ARS? Did you get it deleted from these are the primary ones that you need to worry about for public records. Hold on. Let me scroll. Right here. So the supplementary reports are the ones that you need to worry about when it comes to disputing bankruptcy. So ARS, CoreLogic, Innovis, LexisNexis, and SageStream, which SageStream is owned by LexisNexis now. But these are the main ones that you need to make sure that your bankruptcy is deleted from, because even if you got it deleted from LexisNexis, the credit bureaus can very well, and usually do very well, just verify it through like CoreLogic or something. So that's why you should make sure you get it deleted from all of them first. Since many student loan accounts recently were assigned to a new lender, will a new payment history be generated with the new lender, or will the old payment history be reported again? So no, if it's transferred, anytime any account is transferred or sold to a new entity, they cannot report the old history that you have with another company. Now, that account can still be on your credit report under the old company, but in terms of the new company, they can only report your history with them. So they won't report your old history, but they will report like now going forward. Is it worth disputing an inquiry from the bank? It should be deleted in August 2023. Me personally, I mean, you can of course always decide to dispute inquiries, but it's you could have said that the inquiry ain't getting deleted for 2 years, and I still would say it's just not worth it. But you can, never dispute an inquiry that's tied to an account or a company that you currently have an account with, ever. What questions about student loans? I've been asking questions about student loans. What you mean? Do you recommend luxury credit card? I have never heard of that. Or are you just saying like in general, luxury credit card? I haven't heard of it if that's the name of it. How do I know when to send second dispute letter? So there are 1 or 2 ways to know. Number one is if you have received a response from the credit bureaus of your investigation results, whether they say it was deleted, it was updated, it remains, then you can respond. Or you can just wait a full 47 business days since you sent your first round letter. And if they just didn't reply, then you are now outside of the legal investigation time and you can proceed with round 2. So those are like pretty much the only 2 ways to tell. It's in a portal. I am gonna upload it in the group though, because that's a couple of members told me that I forgot to upload it in the group, but it is in a portal though. But I actually revised the collections kit. I revised like 5 different kits, and so I need to upload them as well. Let me see. When buying a car and house, which one do you get first credit wise? A house, if you can wait to buy a car, definitely always house first, and then the day that you close on your home, you can go get a car. Yeah, I got a grunt because child, my throat. Can you please repeat the list for bankruptcy deletions? Yeah, hold on. I'll just show you. These are this the list. That's their contact information. Let me see. Can y'all see that? Luxury Master Black Card. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Never heard of it. So I couldn't even tell you. I don't remember where y'all was at. I think y'all was right there. Yeah, I'm cold. What is the benefit of removing old addresses? It's a lot. So number one, you just never want to have too many addresses within your credit profile. Just makes you look like you do not have a stable place of residence, which is usually a red flag for lenders. And the top companies have literally came out and said that that's their red flag for them, and they will deny applications if they feel like you don't have a stable residence. 2, it can help possibly getting like old accounts deleted, like collections and stuff that you have tied to that old address. 3, if you have if you live or have come from an inner city neighborhood or a neighborhood that is not affluent, those zip codes affect your credit, your applications. They affect, no matter what nobody tell you, they're gonna say, oh no, that doesn't exist anymore, Redline doesn't exist anymore, but it absolutely does. And that's literally LexisNexis's main driving force in terms of their revenue, because they sell your location information to predict your likability or likelihood, predict the likelihood of you defaulting on an account. And one of the ways that they predict your likelihood of defaulting on an account is based on your address, your area, in terms of the income level and all of that. So yeah. Yes, Credit Academy is still open. I work at a bank. They absolutely judge you based on your zip code. It's legal redlining. They've found a loophole. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. Credit limits and all. Credit limits and all. What do I do about my repo? It's from 2019. Oh, let me get this off the screen. I forgot I was sharing it. What do I do about my repo? It's from 2019 with credit acceptance. They were suing me. I went to court. They told me to set a payment plan with the lawyer, but I called and never back from them. So if a judge has decided on a case, then the credit bureaus will know, they no longer take precedent. Like they won't even entertain it. Like they can't change anything that a judge says. So, excuse me, if a judge has deemed that account yours and that you have to repay it, there, like you have to. Yeah, there's just no way around that. A credit bureau is not above the judge. Credit bureaus are just regular public companies like McDonald's. They're not above, the government or, like a judge. How do I go about getting a Verizon bill out of collections? I never opened a phone line with them. So was it identity theft, Max? Are you going to add the webinars to CA? They're already added. They're already added in the portal, and they're under the Facebook group as well. They're already there. Can a family member join Credit Academy without being in the Road to 750 group? Yeah, the Road to 750 group is completely separate from Credit Academy. Credit Academy has its own group. Well, you're in it. But yeah, they don't have to join Road to 750. That's two different things. Let me see. Is it better for your credit to pay settlements on credit card balances and collections, or just let them age out? It depends. If it's already older than 3 years, then child, there's no point in settling it now, but if it's like recent, then, and it's a credit card collection, then I don't even want to say just that, because it really depends. Y'all already know how I feel about like just paying collections. So I don't even want to say to just pay it. It really do depend. How does a bankruptcy affect you from qualifying for a new homeowner's loan? A bankruptcy affects your credit profile, your credit report. So how it affects you? I mean, it's on your credit report. Anything on your credit report affects you, whether it's a good, a positive effect or a negative. Everything affects you. And obviously, a bankruptcy is considered a negative item, but it doesn't like wholeheartedly just stop you from being able to purchase a home. But I mean, it does affect you. Anyone telling you that it won't, like, they're just lying. Everything on your credit report affects you. No matter what anyone says, every single thing is there for a reason. Just like a lot of people don't realize the importance of just like cleaning up your personal information. That is so important, especially if you are actively applying for things. Not outside of addresses, you having multiple variations of your name is the number one cause of you constantly getting not getting instantly approved and getting like that 7 to 10 day waiting period. Everything affects you on your credit report. Everything. You did file identity theft. So do you have the report? You just send it to the credit bureaus with that account, and then follow up by phone and call them. I went to get my tenant screening, but is the only way to get it is if I've applied for a place and been denied? No. So per the FCRA, you are qualified to get a free copy of all of your reports, all of your consumer reports, and that includes the tenant screening reports as well. So you could call them, or you can go to the website depending on which one, and they can't deny you it. You don't have to be denied for you to get it. You can get it once a year. Do medical bills impact your credit? Yes, every single thing on your credit report impacts your credit, but medical collections are the same as any other type of collections in terms of what it does to your credit score. When we're talking about like FICO 8, which is the most widely used version. The only difference, like the only credit score variation that a medical bill weighs differently than like other collections is like FICO 10T, which is the newest one, which hardly anyone is using yet, but they will. And then FICO 9, which is no lender really uses them. Like 2% of lenders use them. So yeah. Experian responded electronically through their app. Can I request a deletion since it wasn't via mail? No, they don't have to respond via mail. When you sign up for an Experian account, under their terms and conditions, what is Alexa talking about? Under their terms and conditions, it tells you that if you do dispute, you are giving them permission to deliver your results electronically. That doesn't like affect your dispute process at all. That's just their way of sending it without having to pay to mail it back to you, postage and all of that. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure when you respond, you are obviously responding via written communications via mail. But no, you can't get it deleted just because they responded that way. My car got repossessed when I was going through a lot financially during COVID. Could I get it removed? It depends. I mean, so anytime you guys ask me about getting anything removed, you will notice that I would never just say, yeah, you can get that removed, because then that would be me lying to you. Because regardless of what I say, what any letter that you send says, or any other person that, you know, is giving you credit advice, regardless of what they say, none of us or a letter has control over the credit bureaus. And all we can do is challenge your credit reports. Or all you can do is challenge your credit reports and ensure that none of your consumer rights are being violated. Now, if the account cannot be validated, then it has to be removed, regardless of what type of account it is. It does not matter if it's a repo, if it's a collection charge off, whatever it is. If it cannot be validated, then it needs to be removed per the FCRA, or if it's not reporting accurately and stuff like that. So there is a chance that you can get anything removed, literally anything. I've seen every single account type get removed thousands of times, literally bankruptcies, repos, charge-offs, collections. Sometimes you have to go rounds, and you know you have to dispute it multiple times, dispute it multiple different ways. So yeah, to answer your question, anything can be removed if it can't be validated. Credit Academy is the only service that got my medical collection deleted. Ooh, shout out to you, Ms. Bennett. I sent my dispute letters and one of the items dropped off. Next day, will the dispute letters reopen it? Dispute letters can't reopen an account. No, it can't reopen it. What if my federal student loan been transferred and still reported negative? I understand the credit age is important, but it has been negative for late payments the entire time. Well, then that's different. So again, if you don't have at least 12 on-time payments for every one late payment, then that account is affecting you more negatively than it is positively. So in that case, yeah, you can dispute it. And even if it does get deleted, I mean, losing bad credit age is better than having it on your credit report. So I'll never recommend that you save a negative account due to the age, because yes, it's adding credit age, but it's adding bad credit age, and you don't want that. You want good credit history, good credit age. So collections, charge-offs, all of those. When you lose credit age because it's attached to those type of accounts and your score goes down, don't panic, because that's what is supposed to happen, because you lost credit age, but it was bad credit age, so you wasn't losing anything of value. And it's easier to build your credit profile up after you get those negative items deleted, because after they quit weighing down on your score, then your score is able to just like skyrocket. As long as I have a child support balance that can't be removed, been paying it for years. I think you're talking to somebody else. Have you heard about Capital One suing Walmart? What will happen with the cards? I mean, I can't say what will happen. But I mean, I will say that that's not like, companies sue each other all the time. I know it probably like made a headline and it probably sounds like bigger than what it is. If you ever go on Pacer, which I used to do this every week, I used to go on Pacer and just look at like all of the big companies just to see if they're being sued or who they're suing. I have never not seen a company suing one another. Like, companies sue each other all the time. Credit bureaus, like I see a lot of times people will make a status and they'll say things like, the credit bureaus are being sued, so now is your time. There is not a time that the credit bureaus have not been getting sued since 1992. And I'm not exaggerating. There has never been a month that has passed and the credit bureaus did not have an active lawsuit since 92. I mean, since 90. No, 96. So the credit bureaus get sued every month. Just because they're being sued, or just because you heard about it, that doesn't really mean anything. Whatever results from the lawsuit, then we can talk about it. But most of the times they settle. You don't hear about them, and even when you do hear about them, nothing really changes. So that's nothing. I have multiple student loans that are consolidated but still reporting late payments. If they're actively reporting late payments, then you need to make sure that you call and try to see what you can do about either setting up a deferment or something. But you can't just allow it to just continue to report late payments, because that's not going to help you. Once an account is deleted, do I still need to pay the balance? I always recommend that you settle an account after it was deleted, so that you don't have to worry about it coming back. What balance would you say is the highest collection charge-off to dispute? Is there a limit? Collections, not really, but with charge-offs, a high balance charge-off is considered anything over like $3,000 and above. That's considered a high balance charge-off. So yeah. Can you screen share and show how to pull your FARS report? I can't get it on the website. I don't know off the top of my head, but the best thing to do is to just call. Because if you can't, some companies don't offer a way on their website for you to download it. Some companies literally will make you call them in order to do it. So just call them. Because I don't know, like off the top of my head, how to get there. A lot of companies though won't allow you to download it on the website though. Should we settle the debt over the phone or through mail? So me personally, I have to have everything in black and white, especially when it comes to collection agencies. I just don't trust them. I have seen too many times where they have said one thing over the phone. Next thing you know, they tell them the credit bureaus another thing. They agree to a settlement over the phone. You pay the settlement amount, and then they tell them the credit bureaus that was just a partial payment, and they never agreed to the settlement. And you don't have any way of proving that because it was over the phone. The FDCPA, which is who governs collection agencies, they don't recognize or they basically don't recognize any other communication but written. So they don't, like, it's not a violation of your rights if you can't prove it in black and white. So yeah, I mean, me personally, they're gonna have to send me an email, something. If Sprint closed, why is it hard to get the account deleted? Because number one, Sprint sold they offloaded all of their accounts to 3 agencies. So they closed, but they gave all of the information to other companies, and they're able to validate it. There was like last year, it was like last year, the year before. It was like a full year where their accounts was just sitting dormant and they hadn't offloaded them yet, and the collections was getting deleted like that. If you was in the Facebook group, you know that I was like, y'all, if y'all got Sprint, now is the time to dispute them. But now they done sold them, so now it is going to be a little harder because it's essentially like you're disputing with the original creditor, so they're like charge-offs at this point. But with that being said, it's a lot of time that I see that they're reporting inconsistently, so that's probably going to be your best chance of getting that deleted now. How many credit cards do I have? I don't have an exact number, but I have way more than I use. Like how many I use, like on a day-to-day basis, 6. But I probably have, because I have so many that I like literally hate and want to close, but I just won't because of the credit days. But just 7, honestly. If I could do it all over again, I would literally not get 90% of the cards that I have. Called a company today. They said they will take it off in 30 to 90 days, but they won't write anything. What company is it? What is your recommendations for the best business card? So I don't give business credit advice, but I'll just let you know my personal favorite business card is the Blue Business Plus from Amex, and the this name. So my 3 best favorite, not best, but my personal 3 favorite business cards are Blue Business Plus, Amex, Chase Ink, and then the Citi. I don't know why I cannot think of this Citi business card name. I just know my card is blue, but let me see. Let me see the name, because I know they offer like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, I had it for so dang long. No, that's not it. Where is it? Do they not offer it no more? Oh no, maybe that's that. I don't think they offer this card anymore. Wait. No way. They have to offer this card. It's been years since I've had it, so they may not offer. I don't see it on their website. No. Damn, I'm tempted to go get my wallet. Never mind. I don't think they offer it anymore. It's not on their website. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, in that case, it's Chase Ink and then the Blue Business Plus. Blue Business Plus is no, that's not a charge card. That's a credit card. The Platinum is a charge card. I do have the Business Platinum, but I wouldn't say that's like my favorite business card for sure. How do you clean up your tenant report? Also, how do you remove old addresses? You have to dispute the information. I'll upload on my site. I'll upload my third-party dispute kit after the live, and you can use that if you want. If you're in Credit Academy, again, I gotta keep saying this because I don't know why y'all in Credit Academy. Y'all, I be seeing sometimes where y'all still be buying the kits. I'm like, whoa, why are you doing that? It's free. Let me see. Had a repo 8 years ago, not on the reports. Can that be found? Hoping a truck search soon. No, you're good if it's been 8 years. Any negative item or negative account has a reporting limit time of 7 years from when it went delinquent. So if it's been 8 years, you're good. You are good. How do you feel about Capital One? I like Capital One. I really love their starter cards, like the Platinum card. The Quicksilver cards are the two ones that I recommend, especially if you're just starting to build credit. And then I'm not mad at the Venture One card for kind of just light travel, casual travel. If you don't really travel a lot, but you kind of just want to start racking up like travel credit cards and stuff. The Venture One, I'm not like horribly mad at, but yeah. Is Credit Academy closed or can we? Yeah, Credit Academy is not closed. It's still open. Still open. I spoke with National Credit Systems, who connected me to an attorney. They said I can settle for 50%, but trying to tell me to pay to delete comes 2 days after, and they won't put it in writing. They have bad reviews. What should I do? I mean, again, me personally, I'm not sending anything if they are not going to do them. I don't understand why they won't be able, why they can't, give it in writing. And then 2 days after, that's a little to me. Because what are they going to do in 2 days? At least they could at least said 30 days. That would have sounded more believable. But 2 days after you pay, they're going to issue a pay to delete. I'm not going to say trust them because I wouldn't personally trust them, but it's just, have you sent them a pay to delete letter in the mail? What do you think about Care Credit? Yes, it's good. If you need it, of course, and it works for like pets, any medical things. I don't have really no thoughts on it. What does round 3 dispute suggesting reasons say? You talking to somebody else or me? Do you hear about Discover asking for your IRS info? Not most, but depending on if they gave you cash back, so when they give you cash back over a certain level, they have to report it. So that's not like unusual or anything. That's not just Discover. That's any lender, any credit card company. How long should you wait to dispute a bankruptcy off your credit report? As long as it's dismissed or discharged, you're fine. There's no like set time. As long as you're not actively in the filing process. All of my student loan late payments are reporting from current to 90 days late with Navient and Advantage. Will they delete all late payments because of this? There was a period of time where I neglected my student loans. They are all current with zero repayment. Are you saying like they were late in the past, but like now they're current? And is that what you're saying? And you're asking like, will they delete your old late payments because you're current now? If that's your question, then no. They'll just report, your current information as on-time payments going forward, but you do still have, the history of the late payments that you did have in the past. Unless you are on their rehabilitation program. I know sometimes they will offer, if you satisfy a certain amount of the balance or pay X amount of months, then they'll completely reverse it, but you have to be approved by that, and like you have to have that agreement with them. I heard it's not good to consolidate debts. What are your thoughts? I'm not a fan of debt consolidation. I've been very vocal about that because most of the times it does not help the consumer. It only helps the consolidation company. Like that's how they make their money. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Let me see what my student and also they can't do anything that you can't do. All they're doing is negotiating, settling your debt on your behalf, but also adding their fee or percentage to it. So you're paying the negotiated fee plus the service fee for the consolidation company. And when you literally could just send a settlement letter directly to the company and have that agreement in place with the company, because there are too many horror stories that I hear with consolidation. Like a lot of people will experience where the company will tell you, hey, Capital One agreed to accept X amount of money on this account. And then Capital One didn't even say that. And unfortunately, even if you did pay the company, Capital One does not have to agree or accept that settlement based on the agreement that you have in place with a third party company, right? So go straight to the source. They can't do anything you can't do. Experian never received my round 1, but I went ahead and sent round 2. Ooh, no. Why is City keep coming up? Why is it? I am not saying. Did I say? Why is she still up? Oh, come on.
Okay, I found this on the web for Experian never received my round 1, but I went ahead and sent no white.
Okay. Now where was we at? Oh, assuming that they received it and didn't open an investigation, was that okay, or should I have sent round 1 again? No, that was not okay. So I don't know when did you send your round 1? Number 1. And never just go ahead and move on to round 2. Well, not never, but let's just start with number 1. When did you send it? Because a lot of times people think that it's been their investigation time has elapsed, and it just has not. Got a closed collection that is adding interest every month, unable to pay after becoming disabled. My income went dramatically. How do I handle getting it removed? The only thing you handle is dispute it. Crystal, you dispute it. I was asking you, what does round 3 suggested reasons say currently on round 2? Oh, are you talking about like in Credit Academy? That's completely based on your report. So I wouldn't know, like, not without looking at your account. I don't even know who you is because it just say Facebook user. But there is no like, it all depends on your account, the updates from round 2, and then that's how the system will draft round 3. So those are factual disputes. So they're customized based on your report at the time that the system pulled it. So there's no like set round 1. The only round that's set is round 1, by the way. Round 2 is different for everyone. Round 1 is the same. That's just a hold on. Let me make sure everything okay. Because child, I just heard a scream. But these what's that? Oh, okay. I was gonna make sure everything was okay. Oh, okay. Because I just heard a yell and then I heard running. I'm like, what the hell? Huh? Oh, okay. That's cool. I just was making sure everything was okay. All right. My bad, yeah. Should I dispute one late payment on an open credit card? No. You never want to dispute anything with the credit bureaus on an open account, because that's the number one way to get an account closed. So if you have late payments on an open account, ask the company for a goodwill adjustment. Don't ever try to dispute it with the credit bureaus. It's not worth it. I was asked. Oh. Should I sign up for Freedom Debt Relief? I was looking into it. I'm not a fan of them, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of them. I mean, I'm saying the late payments aren't reporting 30-day or 60-day late marks. It reports current, immediate to 90-day. Oh, okay. So if it is a federal student loan, then they don't report any late payments until you are at least 90 days late, and that's written within their contract. So in their case, that is like factual. That's considered factual because they did outline that in the contract. There are a few companies that does it that way, but it's usually only like installment companies, so loan companies. So is it on a student loan? You didn't say, but I'm assuming it's on a student loan because that is how they do that. Do they automatically upgrade you to an unsecured card? I don't know. Does who? So most times no, but like Discover sometimes does, and I think Capital One does, but they're usually like the only ones. Thank you for making Credit Academy. I was going to do credit repair with sketchy TikTokers, but glad I found you. No shade to the sketchy TikTok. That wasn't my words, but shout out to you and thank you for being here. Yeah, this is just a Q&A because we couldn't get a webinar in this week because I just got back from vacation, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna get right back to it next week. I had to revise the question. She should see some. Did I answer it already? Why does some people have their name and then some people just say Facebook user? That's so annoying. So I'm trying to see, because it's like I don't know if I'm responding to the same person or if it's just another question. Will credit cards waive a payment if you are in hardship during the month? It depends. Some companies will give. That's basically considered like a goodwill adjustment. Some companies will, some companies won't. You just gotta ask. Capital One is really good with it. Credit One is really good with it. Navy Federal, they iffy. Yeah, you just gotta ask. My credit has been stagnant at 750 for over a year and a half. How do I get it up? Hard to say without, of course, seeing what's on your profile. But the number one cause for stagnation is typically like utilization. Especially if you're above 750, you pretty much are maxed out on most of the categories. Credit age and utilization is probably going to be the culprit of getting you over 800. So I don't know what utilization you are reporting, but a great practice is to report 1 to 3% for at least 6 months, and that's usually going to be a boost. Like I remember I was stuck at 750 for like 9 months too. When you get over, like it's kind of hard to get over that hump, but once you do, it's like up from there. I ain't even gonna really say up from there because I mean from 750, because I've been at like my current score like 807, like between 803 and 810 for over a year as well. And the only difference that, is going to happen is the credit age, just continuing to allow my accounts to age, not opening any new accounts. That's the only difference that's, at this point. But yeah, the higher the score you have, the less, the less amount of points that you have available to like get anymore. So it's going to come way slower. But at 750, there's honestly no difference between 750 and 800. If you're over 750, you are already in the max category of any lender anyway. And if it's a true 750, obviously, if it's not just because you added a trade line or something, I'm not talking about you, but just in general. If you have what's considered a true 750, then you are already getting the max rewards as people with 850s, literally. I keep hearing mixed info, but I want a Citi card as well. Oh no, mixed info on what? Citi? Oh, I love Citi. If that's what you add, Citi, Amex, and Chase are considered the big three. Like those are my road dogs. Like if anyone who has like a lot of credit, they're gonna tell you Citi, Chase, Amex are where the limits are, where the best rewards are. Like they're literally considered the big three for a reason. But yeah, if you heard mixed info about Citi, I don't know what nobody's saying negative about Citi, because Citi is they not only are they slept on, but like they got some of the best credit cards in the world. I like some of their credit cards better than Amex. Will a collection from 2017 that was verified after round 1 fall off after 7 years? After 7 years, yes. But just because it was verified round 1 means nothing. Follow up on round 2. Round 1 is not, like I always tell people, when you send round 1, you shouldn't even expect a deletion. I know a lot of times you'll see people and members in a group getting deletions off round 1, but that only happens like 10% of the time. 90% of people are not getting deletions in round 1. And that has been, I've repaired thousands. I've looked at thousands of reports, helped thousands of people repair their credit. Literally speaking, there is a very small percentage of people who actually get deletions on round 1. If you'll notice, even in a round 1 letter, I don't even ask for deletions because it's just not what it's for. It's essentially there just to kick off the process, to start to get the credit bureaus to investigate something. And then after you get them to investigate an account, then you follow up on it. So even if they verify, expect them to verify, follow up. A round one verification means nothing. Like, it literally means nothing. The only time it means something is if they send you the contract with your signature. That's it. And that rarely happens, but I mean, it does happen sometimes. Who is the new credit builder account? What do you mean? What Citi card do you recommend? My favorite Citi card is the Citi Premier card. I think that's like a pretty like general card that anyone would benefit for. Like the Citi Premier card, I still have, like, this is one of the cards that I use most of the times. Like, I have over 20 credit cards, and the Citi Premier card is one of the ones that stays in my wallet, is definitely like one of my everyday spenders. Citi Premier, I love that card. Citi Custom Cash, Citi Double Cash. Those are two of my other favorite Citi cards. Since I've gotten a Premier, I will say I don't use them anymore, but if you are just wanting to start off with Citi, the Double Cash and the Custom Cash is easier to get than the Premier, and that's where I started as well with Citi, and then I built, after that. So after I got those cards, had it, built that history with them, then now I got the Premier, and the Premier is of course going to be higher limits, but higher starting limits, but the Double Cash and the Custom Cash, like, don't get it confused, they can get up to 40 and 50K. So it's still a great card. Citi Custom Cash, Citi Double Cash, and Citi Premier are probably like my favorite ones off the top of my head. Yeah. Oh, the people that didn't ask StreamYard stay face with you. Oh. Can collections that get deleted reduce the credit age? Any account that you get removed from your credit report, any account that you add to your credit report, all of that affects your credit age, because credit age is an average. So all of that will take away from your credit age. But as I stated, never try to save credit age based on collections, because it is credit age, but it's bad credit age. You don't want negative credit history, right? So even if your score does decrease, which 90% of the time that will happen when you are repairing your credit before you rebuild it, don't worry about that, because you are literally losing negative history. Those collections on your report was not going to get you, approved for things. Those they added credit age, but it was bad credit age, and you don't want that. You do not want that. Am I hearing Chris Brown in the background? Alexa is playing, but I think Chris Brown was playing at first. But this is, I think, Chloe Bailey. I think. If you settle a medical collection for less than a balance, will it still be removed based on the new law? Yes, it will. So any medical collection that you have on your report that you have settled or paid in the past will automatically be removed. And any medical collections that you have not paid and it's under $500 in a balance will automatically be removed. And that has to all happen by August of this year. What's this? April. So we got a couple more months before they have to remove them all. But yeah. Yeah, I like the Max Reward app. Do you have an affiliation code with Max Reward? I don't have an affiliate code, but I like them. I think it's free to download, and I think they offer like a free membership, and then you can pay to get like extended benefits. But yeah. Yep, if it's under 500, or if you have paid or settled it in the past, regardless of if it was originally, let's say 1,500, and then you settled it, as long as it's settled or paid, like if the current balance shows 0, then it has to automatically be removed. If I settle my medical bill if I settle my $1,000 medical bill, but I want to only pay $500 on it, would the rest be removed? So if you settle an account, that means that the company is agreeing that they will accept a partial payment as full payment. So the second that the company says, yes, we will accept $500 on this $1,000 account, that is considered settled. So yes, it doesn't even have to, you could have settled that $1,000 collection. And this is just an example, but you could have settled it for $4 if the company agrees to it. If they agree to a settlement, then it would have been removed regardless. So it doesn't mean that, like, if it was $1,500, you had to have paid at least $1,000 for it to qualify. No. That's two different things. So any medical collections that has a $0 balance on your credit report, regardless if it's 5 years old, 4 years old, it will automatically be removed. And then any medical collections that is under $500, like the balance is under $500, then that will automatically be removed as well. Yeah, that new law came out in August of last year, and they pretty much gave them a year to make the changes. Oh, go sugar. I sent it on February 27th. Oh, February 27th. I don't even think that's, let me count. Business day calculator. Did you already send your round 2? Because I don't even think that they're outside of the investigation time yet. You said February 22nd, 2023. Wait, 26, I mean. 26. Let me see when that business day expires. Damn, where's the little calculator that I'll be using? Hold on. Why are they showing add work days? Okay, here we go. So February 22nd. Just to give you guys an idea of how long a process can take, even though it add 30 days. 30 days is school, weekends, and holidays. Okay. So if you sent your letters on February 26th, literally, that's funny that I want you to see it because it literally says, well, my camera over here. It says 30 business days after February 26th is April 12th. So today is the last day that they legally had to investigate your account. So if you already sent your round 2 before today, then they can mark you frivolous legally. So yeah, it literally just ended today. And if your next round dispute letter is before today, they literally can just mark you frivolous, and then that can be a reason that they can legally ignore you. So patience. That's all I'm gonna say. Patience. I know it be seeming like it's taking a year, but 30 business days means that weekends cannot be counted, holidays cannot be counted, nor can the postage time be counted. So technically speaking, 30 business days from the 26th is today, but that also, you have to also add about 10 more days because for mailing time. So the timeline starts when they receive the mail, not when you send it. So technically speaking, they weren't even out there investigation time. Any tips on increasing my Chase credit line? My Amex increased on its own, but Chase has been harder. Quit letting your Amex increase on its own. You got to ask Amex if you want the real limits, but not necessarily. Not saying that it's a bad thing that it increased on its own, but I'm just saying next time ask them because they'll give you more money if you ask. To Chase they do build slower than Amex for sure. Amex, if you want a high credit limit in the shortest amount of time possible, no one is beating Amex. Personally, no one is beating Amex in terms of that. However, Chase, they're a little more like Chase is just a little harsher, not harsher, but just like you have to build slower. So with Chase, they really, really care about like your average like spending and your average like utilization. So I only ask Chase for an increase every 6 months, and before I ask Chase for an increase, depending on what your limit is, I make sure that I am showing adequate usage on that card. So if you have over $10,000 trade line, like your starting limit was over $10,000, you want to make sure that you have at least 15 transactions per month per billing cycle if you wanted to increase, right? And then also you want to make sure that you are paying them back at least 90% of what you spent each billing cycle. So your utilization shouldn't be over 10%. If you do that, and then ask them for a increase after, because I ask Chase like every 6 months, then you shouldn't have an issue. Like I usually never have an issue with Chase if I do that. But if you don't use their card, they don't care about that. My credit score has been plateauing in the 700. Should I open a new card to increase my score? Opening a new card won't increase your score, especially if you already have a 700. Whatever is on your credit report is what you need to deal with and change whatever. Not even change, because obviously if you have a 700 and it's a true 700, you're not doing anything bad. You may just be coasting. You may just need to allow your credit lines to age your current account. And also utilization is like the number one way or the fastest way that you can increase your score. So lower your utilization between 1% and 3%. Do that for at least 2 billing cycles, and you should definitely see an increase. But adding another credit line is not gonna like help you. How do I go about removing a collection that I know is valid? You knowing it's valid and then the credit bureaus or the furnishers being able to prove it's valid is two different things. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of times I get questions, not even a lot of times, every day, every time I'm on live, people ask me the same question. And it's, should I dispute a collection that I know is mine, or what's the best way to dispute a collection that I already know is going to be validated? Number one, just because something is yours doesn't mean it's validated, right? And I'm speaking only for my dispute letters. I can't speak for anyone else's dispute letters, but for me, I don't challenge the ownership of an account unless it was identity theft. Unless it was like true identity theft, I don't even touch saying this account is not mine. That's not a strong dispute, because the only thing that they have to do is prove, based on your personal information, which is very easy to do, that account belongs to you. That is so easy for the credit bureaus to prove, right? So I don't dispute that way. It's just not a strong dispute. But you dispute, you ask for an investigation, number one. And if the account can't be validated, then it has to be deleted, even if it's yours. Just because an account is not yours, that's not why collections get deleted off credit reports. Not at all. Collections get deleted because they're either reporting inaccurately, reporting inconsistently across the 3 credit bureaus, or the collection agency simply just could not validate the account, which happens in like 70% of the cases. When collection agencies purchase debt, they literally purchase thousands of debt at the same time. And all they really care about is having your name, your address, and like a way to contact you and how much you owe. That's in the original creditor, right? They usually never really have documentation for the accounts and all of that. So when you do ask for validation of the account, a lot of times they can't validate it, which is why you will see collections just dropping off, or why you will see your collections just closing, and then they'll send it back to the original creditor, and then the original creditor will try to sell it to another collection agency. But just because it's yours don't mean anything. The burden of proof is not on you as a consumer. You could know an account is, and honestly, if you know the account is not yours, then you shouldn't just be sending dispute letters. That is identity theft. There is a whole different process for identity theft than it is for validating your accounts. And I want to make that very clear. If an account is not yours, there's no reason you should be sending regular dispute letters to the credit bureaus. That is not your burden to prove. If it's not yours, you need to file an identity theft report, and you need to follow up with that method. If it is yours, you need to force validation. I need information. What's the best balance transfer card? I like Citi the most for balance transfer cards, because they usually, and if you have Navy Federal, they probably have the best because they have the best like interest rates. But I know Citi will usually do like 18 months, no interest on your transfer balance. So if you have Navy Federal, theirs probably going to be the best because no one is probably going to beat their interest rate. But if not, Citi is a great option. I have a charge off with Community Bank Victoria. It states bad credit purchased by another lender. I'm more than sure that I paid it off. It was closed July 2017. I have been trying to remove it for a while. Question 1, how many years does the charge off stay on your credit report? So it stays 7 years from the month that it was charged off. What are the odds of getting it removed? I'm in the second step. I always use the suggested reasons. I don't remember. I mean, there's no like odds, I guess. There's no like certain percentage because it all depends on the account. Now, I will say a charge off is, as I've always stated, is the hardest type of account to remove because it does still belong with the original creditor. If you, and you said that you're more than sure that you're paid it off, but is it reporting paid on your credit report? Like, is it, or is it still showing a balance? Which letter will I send to a collection agency that did not respond to a debt validation request within 30 days? If it's not on your credit report yet, there is a debt validation follow-up letter, and that's the one that you need to send. Or, by the way, they don't have to respond. So a collection agency doesn't have to respond to your debt validation letter. They just can't not respond and then also send it to the credit bureaus. A lot of times they won't respond, especially if they can't validate it. And as long as it does not pop up on your credit report, then they don't owe you a response, you know? So yeah, to answer your question, a lot of times they don't respond, especially if they can't validate it. They'll just send it back to the original creditor. Now is the time. If I would call the original creditor to see if they send it back and then try to settle that account, because all the original creditor is going to do is just sell it to another collection agency, and you're going to be like fighting this thing until, you know, forever. Not forever, but you know. I had a secured card that went unpaid and had a higher balance than the credit balance when they closed it, and used the deposit money to pay it off. Does it count as a payment? it doesn't count as a payment, but it does like gets taken away from the balance, if that makes sense. Like you're not going to be credited for them using your deposit money. You're not going to be credited a one-time payment for that. However, they will reduce the amount, your deposit amount from your balance. But like it's not going to be reported as an on-time payment. I was so worried about credit age, but it said one got deleted from round 1. The Credit Academy won't update until the 14th. Oh, 2 more days. I'm hoping it will reflect the credit. Yeah, it will. It should reflect the collection deletion. But yeah, I would never don't ever worry about credit age when it comes to negative accounts. I cannot stress that enough. There is no winning. There's no positive to having negative credit age. At no point should you ever decide, oh, I'm going to keep this negative credit age just for the sake of having credit age. Absolutely not. No. I'm sorry, that was nasty. I paid portfolio recovery and it's still showing late payments on all 3 bureaus. How to get it off? You paying portfolio recovery means that you pay the collection side of that charge off, because the account was charged off and then Victoria's Secret sold it to portfolio recovery. Victoria's Secret, or Community Bank rather, because that's who they use. Community Bank will still report your charged off account because it is still a charge off, whether it's paid, whether it was transferred. The original account is still considered charged off. It just cannot report a balance. However, when they sold it to a collection agency or a debt buyer, which is portfolio recovery, then they have to manage the collection of it. So you pay portfolio recovery, but that charge off will still remain. How severely does a firm affect your credit? Like, what do you mean? Like, if it defaulted, or what you mean? I keep forgetting that my camera is up here. I'm so used to looking at my computer. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to color grade this camera because it's a little gray, but I'm gonna figure it out. I just got it today. Can a company continue to report late payments if an account is reported as closed? Yes and no. So what do you mean? Like, are you saying like if you already had late payments before the account was closed, and can they still report that? If that's your question, then yes. Now, if the account was closed, there should not be late payments added or being stated as current like after the account was closed. But the history with the account, yeah, that still is going to be reported. Thank you, Jess. I tried to find the address or CEO email for Department of Education or Advantage. Can you assist with that? So federal student loans don't give goodwill adjustments. If that's what you were like finding, if you were trying to find a CEO email to ask for a goodwill adjustment, federal student loans, they don't give those. So yeah, and then you can contact the CEO. They probably don't even answer. I have a collection for Franklin Service. They agreed to pay to delete, but won't email proof that I recorded the phone call. What should I do? So again, like you can use your own discretion, and if you like trust them, yeah, but I just can't ever advise you to not have it in writing. So I don't know what to say. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't even talk on the phone with them. That's also, I think that you should send them a pay to delete letter in the mail. Talking on the phone with them is only going to have them say, oh, we can't send written proof. So how do you respond? How do you send me everything else in writing? So, I mean, I can't, I'm never just going to get up here and say, yeah, just trust them. I just can't. I've seen, and I'm not saying that they're lying, by the way. I've just seen so many times where not them, but just any collection agency has said one thing and did another. And I just can't. Yeah. I have a repo that closed in January of 2008, but I tried to dispute it and now it's showing a balance. Did this start? They have been sending me a letter for settlement for $1,500. What do you mean now it's showing a balance? So you didn't have a balance on a repo at first? Like you didn't owe them at first? I'm a little confused on that part. They have, you can, if they've been sending you a settlement letter for $1,500, I mean, I don't know how much you owe them, but that may be a good deal. Counter though, like if they telling you that they can settle for 15, they probably can go lower. The first offer couldn't possibly be the lowest offer. Are you seeing my questions about bankruptcy? I didn't see it. Let me see. What about bankruptcy? Let me see. How do I remove nodes? What's nodes? What's that, Tommy? How often should you ask for an increase with credit cards? It depends on a company. With American Express, I like to ask every like 90 to 95 days. With Apple, they are also on my 90-day schedule. Citi and Chase, I pretty much ask either once a quarter or once every 6 months. It all depends. Do you ask for a credit limit increase on all your credit cards? No. Some credit cards, they just don't, grow. There are usually some credit cards, especially like starter cards, the ceiling is very low with starter credit cards. So I just don't ask for those. Like I still have credit cards that are $200 limits, literally. But the cards that does have the potential to grow, I do ask them constantly. Why do you say you should not wait for American Express to give you an increase and you should ask? I say that because when they give you an increase, they'll give you a little bit, they'll give you a few thousand. Whereas if you ask and you tell them, because when you ask American Express for a credit limit increase, they literally ask you like, what do you want your card increased to? So if you have let's say a $20,000 limit, your first time you ask them, you should always ask them the 3 extra limit. And then any increased request from there should be at least 2 times your limit. Now, depending on how high your credit limit is, that may be a little harder, but like after you get like over 60, 70,000, then you just ask them like $20,000 increments. But if your credit limit is under $40,000 or under 50, I'll say like $50,000, always ask them the 3 extra limit, especially if the first time, because they just do. It's not unusual for them to 3 extra limit. The lower your credit limit is, the higher the chance that you have for them to 3x it. So if they started you off at $5K, your first increase that you asked them for, you shouldn't request anything under $15,000. So American Express is a lot different than like other companies. With Apple, they're not going 3 extra limit at a time, nor is Chase, nor is Citi. But they will give you more when you ask. When a bank feels like you need the money and you're asking for something, they're more likely to give you what you're asking for, or give you more if you have a good history with them. If they just give you an increase, they usually just give you the bare minimum, just kind of like a little reward just for doing good on your credit card. But I guarantee you, if you would have asked, you would have gotten more. So just a general rule of thumb for the credit cards that, like I said, especially I'll just say for the big 3, it's always best to ask them than them to automatically increase you. Send the personal information letter, include your ID. Oh, I think you're responding to somebody. I have a charge off with Community Bank. Oh, I already answered that. Do you dispute by phone, mail, or app? Always mail, never dispute online. They just recently added a dot. Are you talking? It's somewhere, huh? Do you recommend requesting a credit limit increase or letting them off? Oh, requesting. I think you probably asked that before. I just said that. Always ask. I hate when I accidentally forget to like ask American Express to increase one of my cards, and then I get a notification that they increased it on their own. I know a lot of people like celebrate that, but because I know for a fact that I would have gotten more had I asked, it just be like, damn, now I got to wait 90 more days before I can ask you. Because if they increase you, you still have to wait at least 90 days before you ask again. Facts with the 3x, with the Amex 3x in your limit. I remember you told me that, and I went home, asked them to 3x 2 of my cards, and they literally did. Oh yeah, listen, you'll never catch me lying. You'll never catch me. There's never gonna be any cap, and anything I promise you is because I know for a fact that they do it, or I have personal experience of them doing it. American Express will rate. They have no issue with raising your limit, but because the biggest but is you have to use your American Express card. American Express is not, and the big 3. I'll just say the big 3 is not a credit card or a company that cares about you casually using their card. No, ma'am. If you want a high credit limit, you got to show that you use the card. You can't just use the card one or 3 times a month and then expect them to give you a $80,000 limit or a $100,000 limit. They have no reason to. You don't use what your card. You have to. They're a relationship bank, so everything that after you get approved, everything going forward is going to be dependent on your relationship, the history, how much you're spending, how much you're paying back. That's what they care about. But yeah, you do it right. You do right by them. I mean, they have no issue with increasing your limit. None. Did y'all know over the pandemic? So when like a lot of banks was decreasing the limits of their members, like a lot of credit card companies or a lot of banks did that, right? American Express was known to be the only bank that literally still was giving out the same amount of increases even during like the pandemic. So take for that what you will. They was literally the only bank that was still like, yeah, you can still get them long as you're doing good, you can still get the money. Does American Express hold grudges? I had a charge off account with them last year, wondering when I can get them again. Yeah, they do hold grudges. How long it depends. But they do. I'm not gonna hold you. They do. I defaulted on a Navy Federal card. Should I pay it off and save the relationship? I think so. I do think that they're a valuable bank, especially with loans. Like I like loans primarily through like Navy Federal because they have like the best interest rates. Whether that's home loans, car loans, most of the times they had a best interest rate. So I like to keep them in my good graces just for that. Excuse me. So I mean, I say that they're worth it. I say that they're worth it. I have a high balance charge off that's reported CO every month for almost 2 years. What's next? If it's high balance and you're not prepared to pay it, you may want to hold off on disputing it because even if they are wrong, they can always force you to pay them by way of suing you. So the higher the balance is, the more likely you are to be sued, and that's just an old saying because it's true with charge-offs, by the way. It was a goodwill adjustment. So how can I get late payments often? So unfortunately, you can't force the goodwill adjustment. It is at the discretion of the company. So the only thing you can do is continue to pay your card on time and build up a better like relationship with the company or a longer relationship, and then ask again. But like there are no like consumer rights that says that a company has to remove an old late payment. You know what I mean? So you're not fighting consumer rights when you're asking for a goodwill adjustment. You're literally asking them to do you a favor. Just to confirm, I need the bankruptcy kit and still Credit Academy. No, you wouldn't need both. Credit Academy is an all-inclusive thing. Comes with webinars, comes with customized dispute letters, it comes with all of it, like encapsulated in just that one price. You don't need to ever like purchase another kit or webinars if you're a member. So no, not both. Can charge off report as CO every month? It can and it can't. So like if the account is sold, if the charge off, if the account was sold or transferred, it should stop updating within 90 days of that. Or if it was originally charged off, they should not still be updating the account or payment history after 180 days. So after 6 months. I need to remove Gateway Financial Solutions. It's paid off, old car, and paid 3 years, no missed payments. Then the last year I had 30, 60, 90 day. They reported it. It's showing, and I'm hoping it will get challenged in round 2. I don't know who the CEO is. You guys are mixing concepts. So you wouldn't, if it's a charge-off account, there's no goodwill adjustment to that. Like they can't, goodwill adjustments are for open accounts, right? So I think you're just kind of mixing two different things. So yeah, to answer that, a goodwill adjustment is not going to do anything on a charge-off account because they can't go back. After an account has been charged off, that's the final stage. It will never go back to a positive account ever. Against the law, it literally cannot, because when a company charges off an account, they legally have filed a loss in terms of taxes. So they can't then go back and say, we already written off a loss for this account, and then we are going to also still open it back up. They can't do that, right? So a goodwill adjustment on charge-off accounts is pointless. But to answer, you said 3. Yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, there's no point in sending a goodwill adjustment for that. Self refuses to remove one late payment. Should I send a letter to the CEO or dispute with if it's an open account, never dispute anything with the credit bureaus. If the account is open, never dispute anything with the credit bureaus, ever. Not worth it. If you one day late paying your credit card, how much will that affect your credit? It won't affect your credit because you have to be at least 30 days past the due date for them to legally rule that as a late payment on your credit report. So your bank can charge you a late fee, but they can't report that to the credit bureaus until you're 30 days past due. So just pay it and you won't see a change in your credit score. You stated your favorite city cards. Can you provide your favorite chase cards? My favorite chase cards, my favorite chase cards are 1000% Sapphire Preferred. That's literally my favorite chase card ever. One of my favorite credit cards ever in the world in general. Chase Sapphire Preferred. I do really like the Chase Freedom Unlimited, but the Preferred is like my favorite. Like that's like my top cajon when it comes to chase cards, personal cards. But I do like the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex as well. But my favorite is the Sapphire Preferred. How should I go about removing charge-off that's paid in collection? So you have two different accounts, right? So you have a charge-off and then you have a collection. Best thing to do is just to dispute the collection. The charge-off is probably not going to be removed, but you can try to dispute it, but it's probably not going to be removed. Worry about like the collection. So are the credit card reporting always a month behind? Yes. So you are billed retroactively when it comes to credit cards. So you are paying this month for whatever you bought last month or whatever you did last month on your credit card. And the same goes with how they report to the credit report. So the utilization that they report is your last billing cycle. And because it updates retroactively. So yes. How do you can paying on time for a settlement increase your auto FICO score? No. If you paying on a settlement that after the account, like, are you talking about like a collection settlement? A collection can't report a payment history. The only thing that they can report is like update the balance. So you wouldn't be credited on-time payments for paying a collection agency because they don't have the ability to report as an original creditor. So no. Self refuses. Oh, you already answered that. Is Capital One that generous? Capital One is not that generous. But they're great for like when you are starting to build your credit for sure. Like Capital One and Discover are probably like the best companies to start building credit with because they're the easiest in terms of that. But for like the really high limit credit cards, not typically them. But they do have their role. Like I'm not like shitting on them in any way because they definitely, in order to get to these top tier cards, most likely you have to have one at some point. Can you do a class on credit cards because I'm so lost? You ain't in Credit Academy. I was gonna say we did part 1 last week, but I do have a webinar. Maybe I'll sell it to people who are not in Credit Academy. Or maybe I'll list it on the website. I'm not sure. Self refuses. I keep repeating the questions. How do you feel about the bill card? It's a cool card. I like the bill card. It ain't one of my favorite cards in the world, but I mean, I think it's a cool card. My credit score is high, but I keep getting low limits. The art of building credit properly. Guys, I always say this and I'm just going to keep saying it, but you got to understand when it comes to credit card applications, your credit score literally does not matter. Your credit profile is what's going to determine if you are approved and your limit. So never think just because like you have a 700 plus credit score that you're automatically going to get approved or that you're going to get high limits. That's not how credit works. Lenders do not care about your credit score. Credit scores are for consumers, like for you to know where you stand in terms of like credit briefly. But what actually makes a difference is your profile. The history that you have with other credit cards, your utilization that you are reporting. If your credit score is based on primary trade lines and not like authorized user trade lines, like it's a lot that goes into your credit profile that your credit score will never be able to like tell the full story. So if you have a high credit score and you still are getting low limits or you're still getting denied, then there is still something off of your credit profile. It may be for credit cards specifically, it may be your utilization that you're reporting. If you're reporting anything over 10%, your utilization is considered high. So if you want a high credit card limit, you can't be reporting like 30%, for example. I know that's the industry standard. I know that's what everyone is taught to report. If you want a high limit credit card, you're never going to get that with 30%. What else I was going to say? Obviously history with other credit cards. So you want to make sure that you're not trying to build credit too fast. You're not just adding or applying for any credit card that approves you. Don't do that. There is a such thing of building credit too fast. If you are not allowing your trade lines, a trade line is just an account that reports on your credit report. If you are not allowing your credit cards to age in between applications, number one reason to be stuck in a low limit category, because you are not showing history. or you're just applying for too much shit at once, and then companies see they have too many new accounts open, and we are not going to trust them with a high limit at all. We got to make sure that they know what they're doing. They figured it out. They can pay and handle all of their new debt obligations before we add more debt to them. I only have 2 credit cards and I pay them down to 1% utilization. Okay, so that means that the utilization part is great. You only have 2 credit cards. Have you gotten them all within the same, within the last 12 months? Or is at least one of your credit cards over 18 months old? Because if the answer is no, then that's probably the reason why you're getting the low limits. Because you're still, regardless of if your score or if you have a high credit score, if you've only been dealing with credit or revolving credit for 1 year, you're still considered a beginner. So they're not going to trust you with higher limits. That's not true. I got approved for a $20,000 limit with a 750 credit score. And there's no shade when I say this. When I say high limits, I'm not referring to $20,000, and that's a great limit. That's a great limit. But when I say high limits, I'm talking about like 80,000 plus, 50,000 plus. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not shitting on $20,000 because I mean that's a great limit. But when I say high limits, I'm talking higher than that. Right. High limits are considered 60K and up. Correct. What's my battery? Oh shit. Let me plug this one back up. Can you check my question on IG? What you mean? I can't go out and go to the messages right now because I'm on live. How long is a good amount of time to wait in between applications? So after you get your first 2 credit cards, you should not open any more credit cards for at least 9 months. At least 9 months. After you get your first 2. Now, whether you get your first 2 on the same day, 2 months apart, after your first 2, which is what is considered, when it comes to credit cards, your first 2 is always going to be considered beginner starter. Regardless of what limit it is, what company it is, you are getting started with building credit. No matter how old you are, by the way, this is how lenders view it. Your first 2 credit cards is like your testers, right? After that is when you are going to be considered, if you allow it to age, that's when you are going to be considered an established credit card user. So therefore, the cards that you get after your first 2 is important, number 1, but 2, you have to allow your first 2 to age. You have to show that I know I'm new to building credit. I can be trusted. That's, don't be just opening all of these credit lines thinking that that's what it takes to improve your credit. That's like, so many people do that. And I just want to scream from the mountaintops. There is 100% there's 100% a chance that you are building credit too fast. It's 100, and it goes with credit cards. All that's going to happen is you just going to box yourself in. I'm telling you, I know it sounds good in the moment, but I promise you, every time you apply for credit, you're going to get $10,000. You might get $12,000. You may even get 20, honestly. But if you are trying to get higher limits, you absolutely have to pace yourself. You have to. Yes, Ashley, I'm going to do it at the live. Can you answer my question? I out about BK accounts under 410. Hold on. I think about BK accounts under 410 QA. Oh. What question, Jessica? I don't see it. I really don't. Wait, I see another one. You said, how long is a good amount of time? Oh, I see that one, but I don't see any about bankruptcy. Put it now, because I'm. Oops, not sure what happened. Put it again, Jessica, because now I'm looking for your name. What do you think about American Airlines Credit Union? I don't have personal experience with them, but I really can't give an opinion because I'm not even sure. What happens if I sent my letter 4 days after the send letter date? No, I mean, nothing will happen. That's just kind of like to keep you on track, but that's not a big deal at all. It's just 4 days. How long is a good amount of time to wait in between? I already answered that. I say after your first 2, at least 9 months. Jessica, I'm waiting for your question, your BK question. I see your other questions, but I don't see a BK question. I see when you asked about the credit applications, but I don't see a BK question. Yes, I will be putting the BK kit in there. I have an account being reported with a balance from Spring Oak. I did not dispute it in my second round. I have an arrangement. It's paid in full. Also, they deleted once paid. Also, the same account is being reported by Indigo. So the original account was being reported by Indigo. Then they sold it to a collection agency. Okay. The name of saying I'm using 0% of this card, but also states that it's a charge off as bad debt. How do I go to handle this? Based on what you said, it sounds like that's accurate. Because that would be the truth. So if the account was charged off originally by who was that? You said Indigo. So Celtic Bank is who their bank is. So if the account was originally charged off by Celtic Bank and then they sold it to a collection agency, that account that was charged off, the balance is 0, and you of course are using 0. So yeah, that's reporting accurately. That's true. Now you said they said it was going to get deleted. Did they delete? So I'm a little confused when you said they was going to delete it. Are you talking about the collection is going to be deleted? I think that's what you're referring to, because that's usually how it happens. Like, yeah, the collection will be deleted, but that has no bearing on the charge off account. I disputed a charge off reporting CO every month and later learned, as you said, is a weak dispute reason. Of course, they verified it in round 2. I changed the reason to the suggested one about the charge off balance. Should I have pushed my original reason? No, you don't. No, you don't have to. So you never want to dispute twice the same way. You can't, like, that's the number one way to mark you frivolous. So no, you didn't do anything wrong. I was asking about my Department of Education loans being removed off my credit report. My loans did switch to Mohila, but I thought Department of Ed will remain. It dropped my score drastically. Yeah, unfortunately, that happened to a lot of people. So Department of Education sold all of their loans. And in that case, yours was changed to Mohila, and you do lose the credit age. That's just, unfortunately, one of how it works when it comes to student loans. Well, when it comes to any loans, but specifically with student loans, you still have the age of the old account, but it's closed. So of course, the age is not as prominent as your open accounts. There's not really, you can't do anything, not even really, you can't do anything about it. It's just one of the things that happens. That happens to me as well. That happens to most people because they sold all of their loans. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Can I make a credit card payment daily? I work for Instacart and get paid daily and want to get my balance down. Yeah, I don't see an issue with like you paying daily, because usually I know some banks do like limit the amount of times you can pay in a month, but you may have to pay weekly. Because I believe you can pay daily, but some companies may limit you. But yes, it's better to pay than not. If you have more than 2 and you are rebuilding, should you close it? Close what? No. Close what? Your credit cards? No. If that's what you're asking, no. The accounts included in BK. CA doesn't recognize that the BK is there. My round 2 suggests 100 days late, but my new reports don't have the 120 past due late status anymore. Now there isn't a payment history at all, and they only say included in BK. So you do have a bankruptcy on your credit report, Jessica? So is there a bankruptcy on your credit report, or did the bankruptcy get removed? Let me know. When paying collections and charge-offs, some do pay to delete, and some states that they will update the account with paid collections or paid charge-off. How do I go about getting it removed? The only way is to like challenge it and hope it's not validated. So they don't have to remove it with payment. Some will grant you a pay to delete, but some companies don't offer that. What is the best advice to get qualified for a higher limit loan for a home? Well, with homes specifically, your limit is going to drastically be based on like your debt to income ratio. So that's like even the highest credit score